It's happening. The millions of people may see a drastic increase and decrease in monthly benefit checks. Direct deposit of checks or set to go out to Social Security recipients may be adjusted from the federal government. And there's some shocking news. A new Congressional Budget Office reports projects that an even more dire outlook for Social Security's future than was previously calculated. Without action to fix this situation, huge benefit cuts for recipients will begin in 2033, and preventing those cuts will require massive tax increases for working Americans beginning immediately. In contrast to the Social Security's trustees' own projections, the Congressional Budget Office estimates that Social Security's combined retirement and disability insurance programs will run out of money again just 2 years earlier. And now that tax increases necessary to fund scheduled benefits are higher than the Social Security's trustees projected. The trustees also assumed only 4.5% price inflation in 2022 and 2.3% in 2023, while the CBO report accounted for the recent 8.7% cost of increase. According to economists, Social Security's future is not secure. The program is running out of time and money. Recent increase in government spending and debt have crowded out options for reform, and virtually all Americans stand to lose some policy enactment. The Congressional Budget Office report stated that there are 5 main issues right now with Social Security. And the first is that Social Security has a spending problem. Social Security will only be able to pay out 2% tax, and the program promised to take never more than 6% of a worker's paycheck. Today it takes 12%, and even that falls short of the program's ever-rising cost. The Congressional Budget Office projects that Social Security's costs will increase by 42% of the next 75 years, as its revenues remain stable. Protecting Social Security requires reining in on the excessive cost growth. Inaction means benefit cuts of 23%. Current law requires that Social Security benefits come from within the program, so once fund draw runs dry, Social Security will only be able to pay as much as benefits as it receives in taxes. That will mean a roughly $5,000 cut in annual benefits for a typical retiree, and about $4,000 less for the average disability beneficiary. Congressional Budget Office also stated that as of right now, anyone who is 65 or older will not reach today's Social Security retirement age. That's before the age of money runs out. Also, anyone who is currently below the ages of 57 and 100.
He said he just got word that his company said they're no longer going to pay for health insurance. Don't know what they're going to do. Well, you know, for all of you out there who, and there's so many people who still are in that circumstance. And we'll talk about being deprived of your dignity. Not being able to take care of your family if you don't have health insurance is I think, one of the most consequential things that can happen to a person. And so, you know, for all of you out there
this year in budget process to over the parts of the federal budget, reducing overall government spending. But as recently as late last year, the White House has asked Congress for an additional $10 billion in crisis funds. The money never came through, and now the administration has agreed to give $27 billion back, including a significant portion of what remained in the fund for emergency preparedness and response. States are in the process of allocating money towards new programs. A guaranteed income program in Wisconsin issued its latest payment worth $500. The payments are put forward every single month, and as Republicans doing this, it on the committee released a Labor, Health, and Human Services and bill last week, including a $183 million cut to Social Security. According to the SSA's data, the union warned that Social Security, already underfunded agency, could see standing issues, like long wait times for accessing benefits and longer lines at offices, only worsen. As of June, the average wait time for callers to Social Security's customer service was a little over 43 minutes, and for some, the wait for benefits is more costly. A 2020 report, which looked at fiscal years 2014 and 2018, found that 48,000 Americans had to file for bankruptcy as they waited a final decision on their disability appeals. Meanwhile, 110,000 Americans during the same time period died during that time. Experts say that more cuts to SSA will result in a rapid increase of wait times and force SSA to make some difficult changes that people don't want to see happen. But now, aside from Social Security, lawmakers could be facing a budget shutdown this fall over a number of issues. For example, Republicans in the House Appropriations Committee are proposing a cut to fund Social Security, federal student aid, office at a time when student loan payments are resuming over a 3-year pause. Some Democratic lawmakers have already called on top appropriation lawmakers to consider increasing funding for the agency. And some Democrats also think that Social Security should see a similar influx in spending. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, for instance, have repeatedly introduced a bill that will bolster Social Security checks by $2,400, which would be subsidized by upping taxes on the wealthy. Senator Sanders, in a statement, Our job is to expand Social Security so that every senior in America can retire with dignity that they deserve, and every person with a disability can live with the security they need. Republican presidential candidates are also announcing support for changes to Social Security for the millennials and the younger generations. But now, AARP predicted that if the trust fund is depleted, the program would only be able to pay about 70%, 80% of the benefits so far. This is not good, everybody. And what do you think Joe Biden will do for the people of America? Is he going to send out the stimulus checks in 2023? Can he get the job done? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. We got 10 minutes with the fourth stimulus check, everybody. Social Security benefits, SSI and SDI. Continue to watch this video because you don't want to miss out on this. As inflation continues to go forward, well, shoppers are finally getting some relief at the grocery store. Rising food prices have been the biggest drivers of inflation since 2020, with a combination of labor shortages and supply chains setting grocery bills to spike like crazy. A big part of the grocery price jump came from eggs, which were in short supply for much of the year. And the sharp rise in grocery prices over the last few years has sometimes challenged the conventional wisdom that it's cheaper to eat meals at home rather than out at restaurants. And while the prices that consumers actually pay depend on where they choose to shop and dine out, new data actually shows prices for food at the home rose faster than food away from home for most of the year. And the figure matched pace with the consumer inflation in June from the prior month. And as the planet nearly broke the record for the hottest day known in history, Tampa Bay dealt with consecutive days of heat advisories. Now, what's going to happen is now about 20.5 million American households, or 1 out of 6 families, were behind on their electricity bills as of June. Millions of Americans see their monthly benefit check increase, everybody. It's happening now. Households with low income will be able to claim extra relief money starting this month. Lawmakers have approved new legislation that would allocate billions of dollars towards new crisis relief assistance programs. The Department of Children and Families also announced that the Florida application for Disaster SNAP program has been approved. The program will provide assistance to food families and individuals affected by the hurricane who are not already receiving food assistance benefits through the programs. It's going to help so many people out now, everybody, and this is really great because state officials have said the program will be implemented by phases and by each county starting Monday, October 10th. So it's going to be helping so many people this week and this month with stimulus payments. People get the help they need. The Secretary of the State told reporters that our department is working around the clock to provide critical resources to families that are impacted by this, and our goal is to provide families with support as quickly as possible. And more than 500,000 Massachusetts households will actually start receiving the food assistance and can get a boost this month from the starting of the Keeping High with Inflation. Now, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker has actually announced that 550,000 households will participate in the SNAP's program, and we'll see an increase starting in the October 22 benefits. And those receiving SNAP benefits will get a 12% increase, with households seeing an average monthly boost of $25 to $30. The federal government adjusts SNAP benefit payments yearly to keep up with inflation, and Baker's office said that this recent increase reflects Massachusetts residents and the cost of living and fight hunger and food insecurity across the state. The Department of Transitional Assistance Acting Commissioner said in a press release that SNAP is